Good morning, Sunday School class. This is Sister Denise bringing to you your lesson for this morning, and it's coming from the book of Daniel, the first chapter. And this chapter is about four young Hebrew boys that were taken from their home. And even though they were not around their parents and being raised in the home of their parents anymore, they remembered their teaching, what their family taught them, their mother and father was teaching them, and that was the Word of God and their traditions. So I want you to know that even though you are young, you are not an adult, you can still do the work of the Lord. Remember your teachings from home, even though you may go to grandma's house, auntie and uncle house, or maybe a friend home, even though they're not being taught the things that you are being taught, even though you're not around your parents at that time, remember your teachings. Okay? It is okay to be different, and God will honor that. So let's get into our lesson as we talk about the four Hebrew boys. In the third year that Jehoiakim was king of Judah, King Nebuchadnezzar of Babylonia attacked Jerusalem. The Lord let Nebuchadnezzar capture Jehoiakim and take away some of the things used in God's temple. And when the king returned to Babylonia, he put these things in the temple of his own God. Now, one day the king ordered Ashpenaz, his highest palace officer, to choose some young men from the royal family of Judah and from other leading Jewish families. The king said they must be healthy, handsome, smart, and wise, educated, and fit to serve in the royal palace. Teach them how to speak and write our language, and give them the same food and wine that I eat and drink. He wanted them to be served this and train them for 3 years, and then they can become court officials. 4 of the young Jews chosen were Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, all from the tribe of Judah. But the king's chief official gave them Babylonian names, and this is what some of you may know them as. Daniel became Belteshazzar, Hananiah became Shadrach, Mishael became Meshach, and Azariah became Abednego. Daniel made up his mind to eat and drink only what God had approved for his people to eat. And he asked the king's chief official for permission not to eat the food and wine served in the royal palace. God had made the official friendly and kind to Daniel, but the man still told him, "The king has decided what you must eat and drink, and I am afraid he will kill me if you eat something else and end up looking worse than the other young men." The king official had put a guard in charge of Daniel and his 3 friends. So Daniel said to the guard, "For the next 10 days, let us have only vegetables and water at mealtime. When the 10 days are up, compare how we look with the other young men and decide what to do with us." The guard agreed to do what Daniel had asked. 10 days later, Daniel and his friends looked healthier and better than the young men who had been served food from the royal palace. This is the food that the king himself was eating. After this, the guard let them eat vegetables instead of the rich food and wine. God made the 4 young men smart and wise. They read a lot of books and became well educated, Daniel could also tell the meaning of dreams and visions. At the end of the 3-year period set by King Nebuchadnezzar, his chief palace official brought all the young men to him. The king intervened them and discovered that none of the others were as outstanding as Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. So they were given positions in the royal court. From then on, whenever the king asked for advice, he found their wisdom was 10 times better than that of any of his other advisors and musicians. Daniel served there until the first year of King Cyrus. Well, I hope you enjoyed this lesson, and I hope you got something out of it, because I wanted you to know that stand on the word of God. Remember your teaching. God will honor that, and then there may be people that he will put in your path that will find favor in you, that likes you and accept you for yourself. And I have these scriptures that I want to read for you, and I hope I am able to find it. Let's see here. We are going to go, let's see. I want to come from Psalms, the 27th chapter. And it said, a prayer of praise. You, Lord, are the light that keeps me safe. I am not afraid of anyone. You protect me, and I have no fears. So even though you may not be around your parents, always remember that God is your light. He will protect you. So continue to stand on the word of God. Don't be afraid to be different, because God will honor that and protect you. And I want you to remember Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah. Now, they could have been royalty. They could have been next in line to be king. But they had to go without their crown, because King Nebuchadnezzar had captured their people. So I want you to know that you young prince and princesses, stand on the word of God, because you are royalty. And remember that. Continue to remember your teachings. And I want you to go back through the lesson if you can, and remember that official who had provided favor to the Hebrew boys. Remember the Hebrew boys' name. Remember what they did. They stood on the word of God, and you can do the same. I thank you all for listening, and I pray that you have a wonderful day as you go throughout your day. God bless you. Bye.